Welcome back, guys. In this video, I'm going to take you around making a realistic terrain with trees, water, mountains, hills, little cliffs, caves if you'd like. We can add in trees. I'm going to show you some realism effects, some certain features you're going to need for, say, a first-person shooter game or an outdoor action. Let's get started. So you're going to need to open Roblox Studio, go to the New tab, choose a new base plate. Let's let that open up. Now, while we're opening a base plate, we're not actually going to use the base plate. All we need is the spawn point. So let's actually click on the spawn point. Let's go up here to the Home tab, click on Move, green arrow, drag it up. Let's get that out of our way for a moment. I'm going to be using that in a few minutes. Okay, so now we need to go over to the Explorer tab on the right, click on the base plate, hit delete. We're getting rid of that. Okay, so now what we need to do is terrain editor. If you don't have this open, go up to view and you'll find it right here, dark gray, terrain editor. Yours may pop up in the bottom. It may already be open on the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do right here is we're going to click on generate. It's going to start out small. You can tell by the size of the spawn point in comparison. We need it much bigger than that. So let's drag it by grabbing the circles left and right, grabbing the circles forward and back. It's not perfectly square yet. Doesn't need to be perfect either. Just as close as you can get. You can make rectangular maps, whatever you'd like. All right, so we're going to go with that right there. Looks good size to me. Now you have different biomes. Feel free to play around with this. Keep hitting back, generating, try to get something you like. Right now, I'm going to go with plains, mountains, hills, and canyons. These come out as a good map combo. I'm not going to leave, well, let's leave caves on. We could do that. Now, I want to check something. If this map is too thin, caves aren't going to work. So we need the thickness. See how thin it is there? So when we grabbed all those dots, we went left, right, forward, and back, but we didn't go up and down. So let's get some height out on this. Make sure to go in both directions. Actually, I'm going to bring the bottom one up just a little bit. We don't need it too deep of caves. Okay, so this is what we're going to do now. I'm going to back out, get a good view, and we're going to go over here and we're going to hit generate and see what it comes out with. It may take a minute or two. Let it do its thing. It's going to be random. So remember, if you don't like the first one, you can always hit the back arrow and then regenerate again. You can always change the settings in between and see what happens. But we should get a really good one with this. Should be perfect. Decent. We got some nice covers, some valleys, we got water hills, realistic moving grass, cave system, no. We got water, some hills and cliffs, plateau. Plateau would be good for spawn points. Looking fairly good. I'm not seeing too many cave entrance options. That looks like one. Getting back out might be a pain. Um, yeah, it doesn't seem like the options for the cave systems are too good. I can see you falling in, but getting back out wouldn't be too easy. Let's try to generate again. Let's see what happens. I did like that. We can make one a little better. So we're going to hit the back arrow, and we're going to generate one more time. Let me see what this gives us this time. Now we do want water on the map, but we don't want too much water on the map because it limits mobility. I think a couple cave entrances towards the middle. Almost done generating. Let's go down and start taking a look at it. Cave entrance off here in the corner. Down, that's pretty cool. All right, that could be usable by players. Just a dip. Those are nice though for cover. I really like changing this one. We're getting a bad luck on the draw, guys. So let's do one more generate. Let's hope for a better one. I didn't like the way that one went down and exited off the map, kind of like a death hole. And this way you do want to generate a few times until you get something you really do like, something that works good for your game. And you can't always fill those death holes in. I can show you how to do that. This I like a lot better. Here we go. Here, okay, it actually goes. Ooh, oh, that's a death hole again. All right, we'll figure out how to block that death hole off. Big colors. Well, I guess it's good for putting bases and stuff. All right, yeah, we can go with this. Let's do it. All right. So to start off, we're done with this, so we can close terrain editor. We have our terrain. This is what we're going to play on. Now let's find our spawn point. Grab this guy, and we're going to want to take it over to where we want that first spawn to be. Let's call this spawn point number 1. Down. Let's get it perfect. You always want to make sure that stuff's flat and perfect on the ground, the best you can. On point, so it could be recessed a little bit. All right, and so here's what we need to do with the spawn point. All right, so right here in the right, make sure you have your spawn location selected. And we're going to be going down here. Oh, also something you can do. You can delete this decal. You don't need that. We can get rid of that guy. All right, so spawn location selected. We want to go to color. And don't worry about this right now. We're going to be changing this later. Oh, we're going to leave the color the same, but we're going to be making the block transparent so people can spawn here but don't see the spawn. Okay, so we're going with really red for this. And the reason for this is we're going to make teams. So we're going to do really red and really blue. I taught about making teams in another video of mine, which you can always check out on my channel. All right, so we need to go down here. We need can collide, can touch on. We need anchored on. And we need neutral checked off. Now, team color, we need to also choose really red. Now, remember, really red, neutral off. Everything else here is fine. We have anchored, can touch, can collide. It's enabled. All that's fine. Okay, so this one's done. Now, what we need to do, though, is we need to copy this. We're going to use duplicate, though. We're going to drag our other one over here. And we want to make a second spawn point. So the other team doesn't know exactly where you're going to spawn every time. And so let's drag this guy. We're going to get this one up over there. We can, since we're doing that, actually, we can actually bring this guy like right there. Let's make sure it's still level on the ground good. It is not because we have a nice, very uneven, realistic terrain. All right, let's go grab this guy back. We're going to grab this one. We're going to drag it over here. And this is going to create 2 spawn points. Remember, you can do this as much as you want for each team. We're going to go with 2 just for example reasons. Saves us a lot of time. We can get over to the next things we need to do. All right. So, and this is so they can't spawn camp your players, find out where it is, and just stand there and kill you every time when you spawn. All right, so we got point number 2 set here. Now this one's already set up perfect. We did it exactly like the other one. Now we need to go up in here, and in teams, we need to click on this here and choose team. And on the team here, we need to make sure auto assignables checked, and we need to go to team color, and we need to choose really red. There we go. And so team one set up. And if you were to spawn, you would land on one of these spawn points, completely random which one's going to choose, I believe. Let me see. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's random which one it'll choose. And so what we need to do now is we need to create the other team. Oh, forgot. We want to name this team. We don't have to name it really red, but just name it red just so we know which team is which team. Okay, so we need to copy one of the, oh, let me show you the transparent part. Okay, so right here on transparency, choose one. Now the way that works is 1 means on for transparency, 0 means off. You can do partial, like half, but we don't want the colors to be seen. We just want them to spawn here. And the reason for that is we don't want the other team to see the spawn point or see the color red and know where the player is going to spawn at. Red was just to help us define the color of the team and to separate the blue from the red teams. All right, so again, we need transparency. We need to change it from 0 to 1, and that's good to go. Now we need to copy one of these. And we need to go to the other side of the map. Now again, we want to do one on each side of the map. We could do, say, right here. It's invisible. Where is it? Fun, fun, fun. Trials and tribulations. We're just using the red and blue arrows, bringing it over here. That's a little too far. We'll bring it in a little bit, maybe a little more. We're going to lower it down. We don't want it under the ground because that can create spawn issues for the player. So let's actually take transparency and turn it to 0 for the moment. We'll turn it back invisible in a minute. We got our spawn point there. Okay, so now that this is a new team, we have to change a couple things. We need color change to really blue. Really blue. We got it really blue. Yep, really blue. Okay. So we'll change transparency later. Since it's copied off the other block, it should already be enabled. Collide should be on, touch should be on, anchored should be on, and now we need to come down to team color, and we need to choose really blue. Yep, there we go, really blue. Now this one we want to use to copy because we need our second one. Now this one, after we copied it, we can now change transparency on that guy. He's ready to go. And we can come over here to this side of the map. And let's give him a spawn right here. All right, we'll bring it down just a tad bit, make sure it's recessed into the ground, and it's already set up. It's perfect. We just need to change transparency. There we go. All right, so now we have random spawning. We have teams, team red, team blue. You can change the name of those. So, really blue team. Okay, so this is the other team. For some reason, it auto-created it for us. Okay, so we want to just change this to blue. That was the next step I was going to tell you, is to make a second team, but it's got it for us. It had us covered. Okay, so now we have 2 spawns for each team. We have 2 teams. We can go up here, we can click on home, we can click on play, and we can test it. Now it's probably going to spawn us on red every time until there's more people in the game. And see, we can't see our spawn block there, but we can see everything else. We can see the map. As you see, we need some more items in here to make this realistic. All right, it's working now. You see we got our red and blue team up top. It'll show the names of the players on each team. Okay, so next step is, and you'll notice I already have daylight and night with the sun going up and down. And this is the next step you need to do. You need to go over here to either models or plugins. You'll find it in both, but you need to do day-night cycle. And you're going to see them pop up. You're going to see different ones. See how this one's rated at 95%? That's 9,000 plus downloads. That's probably a really good one. Go with that, install it, drag it over, click on it, test it out, see if you like it. If it works good for you, use it. I already have one installed, so I can't show an example of doing that. but you're going to want it. You want this realism of the day and the night. Some will have the star skies, some won't. Okay, so the next thing I need to talk about, since we're already on that, is skyboxes. SKYBOX. You're doing this in the toolbox, and you need to pick a good sky that you want to go with. But you also want a realistic looking, say, mountains background or trees. This mountain skybox right here is a good one to go with. It works pretty good. Just let it load up. Usually takes a minute. And now when you're ground level on here playing, you've got this realism of mountains off in the distance and clouds along with these stars. All right, so we got that covered. Okay, so you need to go over here now, X out of this. You need to go to plugins, and you need to type in realism. And you're going to get the realism mod right here. I already have it installed, as you see. And when you would click on it and install it, you're going to end up here in plugins. And even though it's installed, you're going to see this installed button in realism mod. You're going to click on this, and what you drag over here to that side is what you want installed. Now, keep in mind, blood is, by Roblox standards, blood is not kid-friendly, and blood can have issues on your game. Whether or not it'll get banned or removed from the store, your account banned, I can't say. I've made games with blood and had no issues, but again, they didn't get that popular either. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to see this can add your own day-night cycle in as well. So feel free to use this one if you want. Okay, you want to do disable reset button. You don't want players to be like, oh, I'm going to die, and hit the reset button and exit out of a match. So you need to click that and drag it over. Dynamic lighting. This is going to add some realism, almost like HDR or like RTX style effects. You want fall damage. First person view, that's going to force them to look out of their eyes. You want that on because you don't want people to be able to zoom out and do a top view and see exactly where all the players are. Now this is super important, this realism mod. This will make or break your game. And it's going to make a lot of this stuff easy because you don't have to code all this and script it all into your game. Ragdoll effect. You don't want the bodies to fall apart into pieces. Realistic head movement adds a bob while you're running. Sprint gives you a run. I don't recall if it works properly on mobile. You'll have to double check that. I believe you do have to add a separate sprint for mobile because they need a button, and this does not add a button in for sprint on mobile. Maybe they can hold the screen, I forget, with standard Roblox buttons. But I know on PC, it just enables the shift key and allows you to run. Now, hide player names is good if you want realism. Now, this is up to you. So do you want players to be able to see the name of the players they're shooting at, or do you want that player to be more hidden and not show the player names? So that's up to you. Shift lock, don't mess with. Day and night cycle, if you install a separate one, don't install this one. If you don't install a separate one, install this one. Credits GUI, up to you if you want to put that in. You'll be able to fill that out. Add in who made what in the game. I recommend making and adding in your own credit GUI for better customability. And that's it. So we added all that in. That's perfect. Now we should have way better lighting. Everything should have a better realism look. Day and night cycle was already working. But let's test this out and see how it looks now. Should look pretty good. Getting pretty close to that realistic looking game. All right. See, now I can't zoom in and out. I'm forced into this first person view. See, there's a cave system right over there. A good plain area for you to fill out with, say, because it's not green on the ground, it's optional whether you're going to put trees here, but you could put lots of rocks or, say, buildings, whatever you would like. All right, let me exit out, test this out. All right. Okay. All right, so that's going good so far. All right, so now let me show you how to add in music. So right now what we want is the audio section, but you want to type not just music, but say you need a defining word, like a genre almost. Let's just type shooter music and see what that brings us up. And you want the word music or else you're going to get sound effects, you know, like jump and get hit and weird stuff like that. So let's not very good so far. Not liking the options. So let's do um, action game music. Let's see what comes up with this. No. All right. So let's just type in music. Let's see what comes up there. All right. You Okay, so that's not going to get it for us. See how it's a little tough finding that right music that's already uploaded here. So what else could we think of? So let's type FPS music. Let's do that for now. That'll work. All right, so see how it gave us this? It has a sound icon on it. Now we're going to want to drag this down and we're going to want to put it into sound, oh, wrong one, sound service. And then so in sound service, once we have this, we're going to want to make sure that looped is checked, and that means it's going to continue to play it over and over. And then the other thing that we need to check is playing. All right, let's test this and make sure the music plays. All right, so we got our music in there. Okay, so now we need trees. There's going to be two good options here. We need to go back, exit out of that. We need to go to models. You're going to find a group of trees and single trees. By mixing these together, you'll be able to make little mini forests around the map. So what we're going to want to type in is realistic tree. All right. And then so if I remember right, there was like a, the other one was actually trees. There we go. So this one we can use and it'll work good. All right, so we need to get some forests set up around here to make it more realistic, but we want the forest to land on the green and the green brown areas, basically because it shouldn't be growing on this. All right, and we want to make sure it's lowered into the ground properly. A lot of these areas you're going to need to put singles as well because the ground's very uneven. Well, let's start with right here. So we're going to grab trees. We're going to grab this out and we're going to drop these ones there. We need to make sure they're actually in the ground. Remember that. And if you don't, or they're not, grab it and drag down. See, these ones aren't going to work here because to get those ones in the ground, the other ones are going to be sunken deep in. So it needs to get moved this way. And then at this point, you might not even need to move it down anymore. Always look at your models when you play, so you don't want people to play your game and to see stuff floating in the air. So that's fine there. So now we're going to want another set for, say, the other side. You're going to want to take advantage of rotate and spin these guys a little bit to get the right angles and stuff that you want. So again, let's look and make sure these are sunk into the ground. This guy is floating. See, that's why we do this. You click back on move. You're going to bring it down a little bit. Hopefully it works out. That is kind of a hole right there. So I wonder if people are going to trip and fall into that. We'll find out. All right, so this guy is still in the air. A little more. There we go. Yeah. Look okay, or are they not too sunk? That one's fine. Yeah, they can be like that. It works out. All right, so we got those trees, these trees. Now let's go grab a tree that looks a little different. We're going to bring that down, make sure it's sunk in the ground. Let's put another one on the opposite side. Boom, bring it down. Let's check these guys. Yeah, looking good. And for good measure, let's throw one on the back. Now you're going to want to mix different types of trees up because you don't want every tree to look exactly the same in the game. Right? So that worked out good there. So now we got one spot. We got trees set up around a cave area. Now, see, when it comes to these, the sand areas, this is questionable on what you want to do. I wouldn't place trees here because trees wouldn't grow on stuff like this. But rocks, while they don't grow, they can sit. So let's find realistic rocks. Try to look for stuff that doesn't look very square and blocky. And if the rock doesn't look big enough for the size of what you're trying to do, remember you can scale stuff, make them a little bigger. And then so this one we want to move, we'll drop it in the ground a little bit. Looks like it's buried. We need more than just a rock. We need lots of rocks. Most realistic looking ones we can get and different stuff. Let's see how this comes out. That's pretty nice looking, but it's very green. Let's put that somewhere not where it is right now. Right. And bring this guy down here and just drop it in a little bit. Yeah, see, there we go. And so what you want to do is you need to just start adding some of these assets, copying them, and placing them in different points. Now, you can't copy the same one a million times. You need to mix everything up. You need to use rotate. You need to use scale. You need to change things around a lot. All right, so we got not enough room over there for that. We can place one down over here, maybe. Right here, paste, bring it a little bit into the ground. There we go. All right, so see, things are starting to come together already. All right, so this one right here, it calls it realistic rocks. Let's trust them and then see how they look. Yeah, we got realistic rocks there. All right, we'll put some realistic rocks right there. I'm gonna drag them down just a little bit, make them realistic looking in the ground. You don't want stuff sitting on top too much or floating because sand over time builds up around things. We'll do the same thing here, but let's try these rocks and grass. It's nice, scenic looking. Gonna have to bring it down. Line up right. See, and these are things you got to pay attention to. See how that side's sticking up while the other one's in the ground. We're gonna hit rotate. Gonna bring it around. We will have to move this backwards a little bit. It's the only way it's going to settle correctly. Even there, it's a little offset. We'll bring it back this way. We can set it there. That'll work out. It'll give us a little bit more to hide behind and more realistic stuff around here. Now, here's a tip I can show you. Take this right here, highlight these, copy, bring them down over here, paste. Oh, did you paste them over there? We're going to drop this right here. We think we got everything close to the ground, but not in the ground. Okay, so put it all down. Everything touched down. Remember again, always check this, everything. This guy is not. They all look okay. Yep, everything there will work. All right. Now, we don't want to leave it exactly like the other one, so things need moved around now. So we're going to drag this guy up over here. It left the ground, so we're going to bring it back into the ground. Those we could leave the same. Let's move this a little bit to the side. Spread these trees out a little bit. Let's grab this guy. We could bring him over here, set it in the middle by itself. And we can put this one out here. And this saves you from importing all these items over and over again. You could just copy them and place them, copy them and place them. All right, so now we got all that set up right there. Realism level's going up. Let's check this out and see what it looks like. So we'll hit under the play, there's a little arrow. We'll hit play here and go take a look at it. I still feel like better trees could be used. It's all up to you guys. I feel like the wood, you could see through the leaves really heavily. And that really is when they built the model, the transparency on the leaves is really low, or you could actually bring down the transparency on the wood just a slight bit and bring up, like basically changing it or getting a new one, just starting from scratch or trying out other ones in the toolbox. Okay, so that's got the basics of placing some rocks out of the toolbox, placing some trees out of the toolbox. We added sound in. You have a lot of realistic features, day and night, run, ragdoll effects, so when you die. Basically, a lot of the stuff right here, we have realistic moving grass. Another thing you're going to want to do is over here is type in bush. And besides trees, you're going to want to be filling in with bushes as well. And you're going to find good examples that work nice. And you're going to want to place all this around your map. And you just want to keep doing this and just fill up your whole map with items all around. And by the end, you'll have something really nice looking, very playable. And you'll just need to add in a gun system and get it going. So right now we already have 2 teams, 2 spawn points for each teams, a full map. Something you will have to figure out to do is you're going to want borders on your map so players can't just fall off. There's a couple ways you can do it. This way I don't recommend, but people do this. There's better ways to do it. So by adding a part, you can actually move the part, bring it to the edge of the map where you want the map to start, and you would scale it. And what you would do is create a huge wall along the whole edge of your map, from one all the way to the other side, and you would have it where it would stop players from being able to walk off because it would have collision on, but yet you would go to the part over here and you would turn transparency off so it's invisible. Now what happens is players will see the mountains off in the distance, they'll think they can run this way, and they'll just start bumping into an invisible wall. Not the best option. Okay, so let me undo this guy because we don't really want that. Now what you can do is over here in models, you can go and look at cliffs. And you're going to find different options. And basically what you want is a cliff wall that you can stretch or keep adding them along the side that will stop people from walking that direction. And you can't use all this blocky stuff. You need something realistic looking. So, I mean, if we were to go for this right here, see, yeah, so see, we would have a cliff wall right here. We would do rotate. Sorry, that was scale. And then we're going to do move. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it down just a little bit so it touches. And then now we want to actually do scale. And what you're going to do is keep making these and run them all the way across your map. If we scale this bigger, we'll have to make less and less of these guys. And so by doing this, we're going to create a wall along one side of our map. And so after you make one, you're going to want to copy, you're going to want to paste, and you're going to want to move number 2, click on move, and move it next to number 1. Do it, not, oh, put it above it. Okay, there we go. So we bring that down. And you're going to want to keep making walls that run up close next to each other like this. And you're going to want to make sure to keep making them uneven too, so it doesn't look perfect along the top. But this is going to create a realistic edge to your map, as you see right here. See, we got a realistic edge even along the water, and it'll stop players. It should have collision on. Let me look at it. That's something you need to make sure of everything you add in your game. So we got to go within it And this is the rock cliff here. Oh, we got to go within that as well. And then we have rocks. So let me highlight all of these and let's go down and look at them. Collision on. Yes, anchored on is can collide on. So that means players will run into it. So let me test it right here. I'm going to hit play here. Okay. Now, let me just see. Okay. So there's something you're going to want to do organizing. So if I click spawn location, if I hold shift and click on the last one, if I right click and I hit group as a folder, and then click again on this, I can type this spawn locations. And then if I click, let's see what these guys are here. So this guy and this guy are, if we click these and we do group as a folder, we would name these cliff walls. Oh, I forgot to click on it. Here we go, cliff walls. And then so trees, there's more we got to add in there. I'm sure some of these models are trees as well. We do group as folder, click on folder, we got trees. And then so you're going to want to do this and organize all the stuff in your game so when it comes to changing, finding, or modifying something later, you'll know where it is. All right, and so that's it, what I'll show you guys for today. Later, I'm going to be getting into another video where I'll teach you how to add in gun systems, weapons, do everything like reloading. It'll cover killing, deaths, all that stuff. But so far, here you got respawns, you got a realistic looking terrain, you have realistic sun, day, night, forests, trees, bushes, rocks. It's pretty decent for a good start for a game. Hope you guys enjoy and learn something here. Have a great day.